Welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. I have the unique opportunity to conduct an interview with the wife of the late great Muhammad Ali on behalf of the African American Golfers Digest. The Digest has just written an article about the fact that Muhammad Ali will be having a stamp, a U.S. Postal Service stamp about the legend himself. But guess what? Joining me to talk more about it is Miss Lonnie Ali, Muhammad Ali's wife. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm trying not to be like a little girl and be nervous, but oh
That's
my
okay,
goodness, what an
Jacqueline.
honor.
Thank you, Jacqueline. It's an honor to be here with you, and I'm excited about this stamp.
Tell me more about it and what do you want us to understand? I mean, it's more than commemorative.
Oh, you know what? It's an honor actually to be on a USPS stamp, right? But this process actually started 3 years ago when a board member of the Ali Center. I had gone out to visit him, and he asked me, Lonnie, does Muhammad have a stamp yet? And I said, no. He goes, why not? We should be getting him one. I said, you're right. And his name was Peter Villegas. And Peter sort of led the charge and got us, up and running. He and Mayor Fisher, who was Greg Fisher, who was the mayor at that time, um, and led this "Let's Get the Champ a Stamp" campaign. And
What? I love
it was all
that.
over. Yeah, it was a citywide, actually national campaign to get Muhammad a stamp, a USPS stamp. And here we are today, 3 years later, and it's going to be released January the 15th here in Louisville. So quite excited. I know Muhammad is so proud.
You know what? Just like a knockout, right? Because these
Right.
stamps are beautiful. And you know what I like about the idea of it being on a stamp is that, there's so many awards that Muhammad Ali has received over his lifetime and even after his lifetime, right?
Right.
But a stamp is something that stays in the forefront of your mind
Right.
because you're going to see it more often and it's going to remind you, about his life and his legend. There, not only a champion in the ring, but a champion, you know, in his humanitarian life. Can you
Right.
tell us about the other side of Muhammad?
Well, first of all, you said it's going to be in the forefront of people's minds. It will be in the forefront of people's minds because there are 22 million stamps being printed of this man. Right. Muhammad's like, go big or not, don't go at all. Right. So it's kind
Right.
of, with him and his personality, it has to be big. Right. So, and, he has so many fans out there, so many fans. I know these stamps are going to go quick. But when you talk about Muhammad's humanitarian life, uh, I mean, let's start back when I was 6 and a half, and when I first met him at the age of 22, before he first fought Sonny Liston the first time.
Mm.
Okay, so he was actually had broken camp in Miami, come to visit his mom in Louisville, and we had moved into the neighborhood across the street from his mother. And from the moment I met Muhammad, that was, well, he was Cassius Clay at that time. But that's the kind of person he was. He was always very giving, kind, considerate, patient, um, always, thinking about other people more so than himself. In fact, he used to come in town to do little fundraisers for the churches here in
Mm.
Louisville. He'd come back and do those to raise money for scholarships and that kind of thing. But his whole life was a life of service. In fact, he had this saying, service to others is the rent we pay for our room here on earth. And he lived that every day. So what we're hoping is that people will use this stamp, this Ali stamp. Of course, a lot of people aren't going to want to part with it, right? They want to stick it in their drawers and keep it, pass it down as an heirloom. But I want some of those stamps to be used, and they are a forever stamp. So you can use them forever. Um, to use those to send notes of kindness and compassion and to connect people, because Muhammad was a connector, to write people notes and mail them using that stamp because I think it would do Muhammad that honor of still being a connector, even though he's not here with us in the physical, he's still with us in the spirit.
Well, let me ask you a question because, just on that moment of talking about where and how you could use a stamp, because even writing notes sometimes has been, unless it's a birthday or an anniversary or an event, a lot of times people are not sending cards. But what a great way to share something in a unique way. How
Right.
else can we send a note or really honor Muhammad Ali and some of the things that he cherished? What are some of
Well,
the areas he cherished where we could send them a note and say, with its stamp on it?
well, people who make donations to like food banks, Dare to Care, um, uh, United Way. I mean, the different charities. When you make something, especially for people who are homeless or for education or for people who are in ill health, those kinds of organizations, use that stamp
Hmm.
because that's what Muhammad was all about. He had a special place in his heart for people who were homeless and for those who needed food, and children, of course. So, to use the stamp in that way, to send in your donation to an organization that has direct impact on a person's life would be wonderful.
I was looking at some of the pictures, of just the past. I could pull up Muhammad Ali, and you've got a slew of pictures. And
Oh,
uh,
gosh.
boy, I mean, you've been with him since the beginning. Can you share some of the stories, or maybe even a special moment that maybe these stamps or something important about them?
Well, let me say this. I have known him since I was 6.5, but I married him in 1985. 86, I'm sorry, 86. I was mixed up.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, I'm bad with dates, believe me. Although
Me
I
too.
do know our anniversary is November the 19th because it comes every year. So that I know, but still. So I was married to him for 30 years.
Mm.
And it was, he was one of those just a unique human being who every day was a lesson. Not that he was trying to actively teach you, but he taught by example. And he was a wonderful human being, as I said, and he was always engaged in trying to help people. He was fun, he was humorous, he told jokes, he loved being in the public. He fed off of, people's energy. He loved just, if there was anybody who was meant to be a celebrity, it was him because he enjoyed every single minute of it. But he was also a man of great humility and tremendous dignity. I mean, you saw how he handled his pathway and his journey through Parkinson's disease, with great humility and dignity, um, really inspiring other people because, he was such a icon of physicality, in the ring. He was a beautiful human specimen um, to watch and to see, but to see him impacted by that disease put him in a whole different realm for other people who could identify with him as well, who have those kinds of physical challenges and illnesses that are degenerative or impact the way they're able to live their lives. So it opened up those doors for him. Even though he understood it, he knew these people, it gave him another way to connect with them as well. But I have to tell you, it's been a pleasure. Even though this has taken 3 years,
Hmm.
the USPS was probably as excited as we were to get this stamp, for Muhammad, and they've been a joy to work with. They have, consulted with us at every step of the way, and even during the release that we're planning, they're taking meticulous care to make sure this comes off just the way we want it.
And I understand that you don't have to wait till January 15th to even order this stamp, that
No,
you can order this stamp like today.
that is correct. You can go on the USPS website and order this stamp today. And I would suggest you do that in advance because who knows how long you're going to be able to get this. I know the different outlets, the post offices that are local post offices that are around cities. I know they're going to sell out quick. So,
100%.
oh yeah, absolutely.
I
Muhammad,
know my mother would be first in line for one. And if my dad was still here, he would probably be pushing her out of the way, because as I grew up, I mean, watching an Ali fight was twofold. it was not only to wait to see what the fight was going to be like, we were just waiting for whatever he was going to say. You know,
Right.
we were like, what is he going to say? Because we were going to take that line, whatever it was, and we were going to say it and repeat it the next day and the
Right.
day after. I
Yeah, this
mean, it was
definitely.
like a family get together.
Well, his fights were events. I
Absolutely.
mean, actually, they weren't just events; they were mega events. When you think about the first Joe Frazier fight in Madison Square Garden, where everybody was in that space, Frank Sinatra, you name them, they were there. Everybody who was anybody was there, and then some. And then the Thrill in Manila, even though it was in Manila, a lot of people went there. The Zaire fight, the Rumble in the Jungle. He like you said, you can't wait for
You
him to say,
can't.
because he had a name for everything, right? His opponents, everything, and he was entertaining like that.
And
Well,
I was even surprised because I told my son today, he's 19, and I had to make sure because a lot of times I'll ask, them do my son and I'm old, my children are young. I started late in life, but I have a 19 and a 16-year-old, and I had to ask my son. I said, "Do you know who Muhammad Ali is?" And he said, uh, "Now I'm messing it up. Uh, butterfly sting like a bee. But I'm messing it up,
float
but I
like a butterfly, sting
float
like
like
a
a
bee.
butterfly, sting like a bee." And he said it just like that. And I was like, whew, I we raised you right,
You know what? And it was interesting, Jacqueline. These are young people who never met Muhammad on the street or had their own personal Ali stories. And believe me, there are a lot of people with Ali stories. But these are people who have grown to know Muhammad and what he stood for and represented through YouTube, ESPN, or reading a book. It's not like they had a chance to watch him in the ring through closed circuit or anything of that nature or attend a fight in person. So, his legacy is powerful, powerful, and still connecting people even to this day. And he had this thing that he used to say that you probably heard him say this is the only way he could get licked is if he was put on a stamp.
I
Well,
saw that in the
yeah,
I've heard it before, but
yeah,
I was reminded of it because that quote is also in the African American Golfers Digest. So
yeah,
it
yeah,
is in that article, and I was like, oh, that's right,
yeah.
and here we are today bringing that to life.
And you know what? I'm so excited to be talking with you today and the African American Golfers Digest because my son is an avid golfer. He played a sport every season in high school and two during the summer, travel baseball, travel basketball. He took golf lessons, but because he played baseball, he couldn't play a lot because it would mess up his baseball swing. But since he has graduated college and started his own family, he loves golf. That is his passion. In fact, that's what he wants for Christmas is a new set of golf clubs. In
Well,
fact, I think
that must be the next article then for the
yeah, he wants a
African
new set
American
of golf
Golfers
clubs,
Digest.
and they have already planned to go to Ireland
Mm.
in 2028 for the Ryder Cup. I think that's where it is. So yeah, because now I don't know about his wife, my daughter-in-law. She will go along with it, but that's his dream trip. Augusta, going to the PGA golf tournament.
Yes,
We
yes.
have one here in Valhalla, but yeah. But we're so excited about this stamp. Bob Costas is going to MC the event for us. Neil
Wow.
Leifer, who photographed Muhammad for many of the SI magazine covers and for other things, will be with us as well. And a host of other dignitaries and celebrities that, had interest in Muhammad's life. We have one reporter that hopefully will be able to make it that covered Muhammad during his career.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, can you talk about this event, where it is and where
Oh,
it's
yes.
happening? Please.
Yes, of course, it will be here in Louisville, his hometown where he grew up. It will be at the University of Louisville's football stadium in the Angels Envy Club room, and it will begin at noon on January 15th.
Mm.
The public is invited. I would hope that there, you don't have to have an invitation to get in, but there is a fire code. But we want there to
Fire
be
code.
more people at this event than there has been at any other unveiling of a stamp.
Mm.
So it's one of those come one, come all.
Well, I think they need to use the stadium then. I mean,
They,
that's what
well, Muhammad said that about his own memorial service, and I thought he was like, okay, Muhammad, sure. Nobody has a memorial service in a stadium. Well, my goodness, he was right.
I would
He
say
filled it. He filled it, and it was actually there was overflow. So, um,
100%.
yeah. So yeah, we're hoping this to be somewhat similar. We want the room to be packed, and we'll see.
Well, this should be in everybody's gift box, no matter what time of the year it is. You know, but I'm so super excited about this stamp myself. I know that I will be ordering them early as well. So you better beat me if you
Well,
if you want to
you
get your
know what?
stamp.
I plan to stack up on them because I think about not just my children, but my grandchildren and their
Mm,
children. So I want everyone to have one of these pages. So I will be buying multiple pages of stamps. And I think other people will be doing that as well because they make great gifts. Collectors
absolutely.
will be purchasing these
Ooh.
as you know.
Yeah. So and they are on sale. We already discussed that they are on sale now. So it really, in order to beat the collectors, if you will, and now I'm starting to strategize, right? Because
Yeah.
I am a strategist.
Yes.
So I'm like,
Yes.
I got to get in front of that one and that one. But they're beautiful, and we have to give great props, to the United States Postal Service,
Yes.
for inviting this opportunity, to highlight really and truly the greatest. Uh,
Yes. And I'm quite pleased they decided to release this one first because his birthday is January 17th.
mm,
Fantastic birthday present for him.
is there anything else, Miss Lonnie, that you want people to know about Muhammad Ali, that we might not know, or about your mission for this, or even about the Muhammad Ali Center? That if you go to Kentucky, you better not
Right.
leave that state and city without seeing, you
Right.
know, the
Well,
memorial.
that's true. It's the Ali Center, which is located here in Louisville, Kentucky, which is just it's the purpose is to mobilize Muhammad's legacy, preserve it and mobilize it and activate it. I consider myself the gatekeeper of that legacy, and the center promotes that legacy. And it's an 80,000 square foot facility that incorporates not only exhibitry and uh, programming, but it's also event space. It's a convening space for here in Kentucky and in Louisville. We've had quite a few dignitaries pass through there. But yeah, if you want to know about Muhammad's life, it's a wonderful place to go. It will be the repository of all things Ali. And, in fact, we're at the 20th anniversary and getting ready to reimagine what the center will look like, in the incoming years. So that's been an exciting project to participate in as well. Staying connected, meeting people where they are, uh, you know, um, especially the new generation of change makers, like I said, who never knew Muhammad,
Mm,
only learned about him through, YouTube, ESPN, on TV, or through a book report that they read. So
right.
that they did. So, we're excited. And can't wait for this to happen, for this stamp to be released.
Well, I just want to say thank you on behalf of Newsworthy Stories and the African American Golfers Digest. We thank you for your time. Thank you for stopping by here and allowing us to be a part of spreading the word. And I would also say, if you're one of these organizations that would like to help spread the word, to even reach out, to let the center know how your platform can be used to spread the word that the Muhammad Ali stamp will be available now online,
That's right.
but officially will be unveiled on January 15th.
That's the official unveiling.
Yeah.
Yes, to the public.
Yes. So thank you so very much. We greatly appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Jacqueline. It's been a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon.